So everyone, it's nearly that time of year. NFL season is upon us and it kicks off tomorrow. I thought I'd do, just before the season starts, a quick quarterback rankings that I'd update whenever I can based on performance. So I thought I'll get right into it and get things started. Number 32 for this year. I had a good think about this list, but I think Mike Glennon has to be. He's proved himself a solid backup and can start on occasion. However, we saw how much he struggled in the preseason, and I think it's only a matter of time before Mitch Trubisky takes the reins, whether that's a good thing or not. Number 31 on the list, and I know this might be a bit controversial, is Jay Cutler. And the reason I say this is he's a starting caliber quarterback, but let's face it, he's not exactly great. And I feel like as soon as Tannehill's back from injury, he'll probably go back into retirement or be relegated to at least a backup spot. So I don't think his future in this league is big, but then again, he may prove me wrong. Now, number 30 is one I'm choosing based on the situation he's in as well, because Josh McCown, he's not the worst quarterback ever, but he's in a bad situation with the Jets and age isn't on his side. And again, whoever the Jets choose to succeed him, I think he'll end up likely being a backup and probably a good mentor too. Now, number 29 for the Jacksonville Jaguars has to be Blake Bortles. He's just failed to meet expectations ever since he was drafted. It seems he has this amazing ability to miss his receivers, even when he has a clean pocket, with some spectacularly inaccurate passes, even on the short, simple stuff. This is his last chance season, and it looked like in pre-season he was going to lose his job before it even started. They're looking like they might move on to Chad Henne, who hasn't started in 3 years, and for a good reason. Number 28 on my list, I have Jared Goff. Now, Jared Goff wasn't great his rookie year, but it's unfair to judge someone right off the bat. Unlike the guys before him on this list, I believe that he does have a future in this league. So bring on year 2 and let's see what he's made of. Now, heading down further on the list, number 27, I've got Deshone Kizer. Now, this may seem a bit high for a man who's never played a snap in the NFL, but he won the starting job and looked really good in pre-season. Now, personally, I'm still not convinced it was the right move to start him. I like letting young guys develop and get better. Having said that, I can't say he doesn't look good, because he did. And this will be his debut spot just due to lack of NFL experience, but he can potentially move up and up on the list. The number 26 quarterback in the league, I've got Tom Savage. Now, he looked good last year in limited playing time, but hasn't played loads. Knowing football though, if he can't live up to the hopes given for him, Deshaun Watson will be stepping in sooner rather than later. At number 25, I have Brian Hoyer, who seems to struggle with consistency, but on his day can be a good quarterback. He's now in the perfect scheme fit in San Francisco, working with Coach Shanahan once again, and coming off a strong showing in Chicago last year. This could be a big year for Hoyer, although at the moment he seems to be being viewed, at least by the 49ers, as a bridge quarterback. We'll see what the future holds, but he does have potential there. Now, number 24, I'm going with Sam Bradford. He's an accurate quarterback, however, he seems to favour a lot of dink and dunk passing, and although he might be the Vikings' only option at the moment, he might also be what holds them back, especially if their defence can play consistently as well as it did last year. Look for him to soon be fighting off fan favourite Teddy Bridgewater as soon as he's healthy again. Now, number 23 on the list, I have Trevor Siemian. Now, he did about as well as you can expect last season after being thrust straight into a starting role. He had his ups and downs, but will be looking to prove now that he's more than just a capable starter and a game manager in the league. I look forward to seeing what he can do, as he has shown flashes of potential. Number 22 on the list, I have Carson Wentz, and he, much like Siemian, had a lot of ups and downs in his first year. He's been working hard on his chemistry with his wide receivers this off-season, and also on his mechanics, and I feel like he'll definitely be ready for a breakout season. Watch for him to have a good year. Now, number 21 on the list, Tyrod Taylor. He's someone we know is a good quarterback. On his day, he's brilliant. But I feel like the question with him still lingers. Is he a franchise quarterback? I guess we'll find out soon enough. Now, this might seem harsh, but number 20 I've got Carson Palmer. He's played some of his best football in Arizona, but age just isn't on his side anymore, and his career in general has had lots of ups and downs and lacked consistency year to year. Now, even though this isn't the middle number, I would say this is kind of where the average midpoint is. I'd say Joe Flacco seems to fit that perfectly. He's just perfectly okay. He's good on his day, bad on his bad day, and give him the right weapons and a really good team and he might even win you a Super Bowl. However, there's not much more to say about him. He just is what he is. He's Joe Flacco. Now, number 18, I have Eli Manning. He's someone that gets a bit overrated sometimes, in my opinion. He throws too many interceptions and doesn't always read the defense well. Having said that, he's beat Tom Brady in a Super Bowl twice, so that has to stand for something. Now, here comes some younger quarterbacks. At number 17, I've got Marcus Mariota. Now, he showed us in previous years that he has the tools to be a good quarterback in the league. He just lacks some consistency sometimes. He's got many strong years to come, however, I reckon, and will prove himself a winner in the league. Now, the next one I know is debatable, and many people love him, and he is a great quarterback on his day. But number 16, I have Andrew Luck, and this is a lot to do with injuries and also recent struggles. He has struggled recently, throwing a lot of interceptions, and it's been a fight to keep him healthy, so that's why I have him placed probably right in the middle of the list. Now, next up, a young man who's going to have a brilliant season, has got a lot of future. Jameis Winston is number 15. He looks ready to take his game to the next level this year. Having said that, it does feel that number 15 is about right, as so far he's had some ups and downs in his career and again has struggled with that consistency. Number 14 overall, I've got Matthew Stafford, who just got paid big and now he's going to have to prove he's worth all that money. One thing you've got to give him is he's always been durable and reliable health-wise. However, I do feel he's a bit overrated and often makes mistakes in either reading the defence or sometimes messing up even the simpler passes such as the screens. So I know some people might say he should be higher, but I feel like this is fair for him and he was massively overpaid. Now, number 13 overall on the list, I have Andy Dalton. He's really stepped up recently, in my opinion, and I know a lot of people will say Dalton over Stafford. Well, I like it personally. I think when he first came in the league, he looked like an okay QB with a lot of good weapons, but he's really developed into a much more elite, if you like, quarterback. He might not have reached that elite status yet, but he's surely pressing for it. Look for him to really prove he can win games in the playoffs now as well, as that's always been a big question that's haunted him in his career. Now, number 12, I've got Alex Smith. Now, I feel like at his best, Smith is a top 10 quarterback, and it's just inconsistency from year to year that seems to hold him back. For example, 2013, he was brilliant both running and passing and really deserved the Pro Bowl. However, he seemed to dip in 2014 the following year and struggle a bit more. This happened again after a really strong 2015 season. He seemed to struggle a bit again last year. He's also one of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL. He finished third in rush yards amongst quarterbacks in 2015 and is really good at reading the defense. He's been working really hard this off-season and looks in the best shape of his career, so look for him to have a career year. Now, number 11, I have Kirk Cousins. He's shown he's a really good quarterback in this league. Now he just needs to show that he can go and get to the playoffs and win in the playoffs consistency in what is a stacked NFC East. Now, we know he's the future. He's got future in this league, but the question is he the future of the Redskins or will he be the future of someone else? Now, here's my top 10. Starting off with number 10, I've got Phillip Rivers. He's been good in the league for a long time and at his best is an MVP candidate. However, lately I've noticed he seems to be throwing a lot of garbage time touchdowns that inflate his stats and a lot of interceptions. So he might not be the quarterback that he once was. Having said that, he's still a very good quarterback. Now, number 9 on this list, I have Dak Prescott. But he's only played one season, I hear you say. Well, you're not wrong, but that also means I only have one season to judge him off, and it was a very good one to say the least. He's earned his spot this high on the list, at least for now. The question is, what's next? A sophomore slump or a Super Bowl? Number 8, when healthy, I've got Derek Carr. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and probably a future MVP. Look for him and his vast array of weapons to have another great season and possibly even win the stacked AFC West. Number 7 overall, I have Cam Newton, who was an MVP not that long ago and in the Super Bowl. Now, I'm a real effort guy and I still don't forgive him for not diving for that ball, but I can't deny that he's shown all the tills and skills to be a great quarterback. He did struggle a bit last season though, so look for him and the Panthers as a team to bounce back. Number 6, I have Russell Wilson. He's proved all the haters wrong. He was too short, they said. What a joke. He's won a Super Bowl, he's been to 2, and proved himself a top-tier quarterback. He not only wins, but can make a variety of throws and runs really capably as well. So here it is, the top 5. Number 5, I have to go with Matt Ryan. He was great last year, and he did enough to push himself into that top 5, I think. Especially, he's just off at the moment, I would say, perhaps the elite quarterbacks, especially after a deflating Super Bowl performance. But he's still earned his way into that top 5, at least for now. Number 4, I have Drew Brees. Now, he's one of the best quarterbacks the league has ever seen. He's struggled a bit recent seasons, but the Saints have really built things around him. When you take one of the best quarterbacks ever and team him with Adrian Peterson, who's one of the best running backs ever, and mark my words, Michael Thomas will go down as one of the greatest receivers ever when he retires. Anyone else see that anything can go wrong here? They're going to be lighting up the league this year. Now, number 3 overall, I have Big Ben. He's been solid and consistent for years, and with one final push left after contemplating retirement, look for him to try and go out and show the football world that he still has what it takes. Now, number 2 and number 1 was really difficult. It's effectively a 1 and 1A situation. So number 2, I am going to go with Aaron Rodgers. Now, he's simply amazing. We all know that. He'll go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play. However, the last couple of years, I have noticed he struggled more than usual. Having said that, he would have been number 1 a few years ago if I'd done this list a few years back. So expect more of the same great performances from the MVP candidate this year. Now, number 1, there's not much that needs to be said. Tom Brady's arguably the greatest quarterback ever. Do I need to say anything else? He's number 1 of everyone's list, and he's probably number 1 of most people's greatest quarterback of all times list. So that's my quarterback index for the start of the season. I will update it as performances go throughout the season. Thanks for listening, and please leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what you think.